Dear parishioners, families and friends of St. Kevin's Parish community, blessings to you. I hope you are keeping well and staying safe. Once again, I assure you of our prayers for you all. In this video presentation, I would like to reflect a bit on gratitude, a theme that has been in my thoughts for the last few weeks especially. Part of my reflection, the opening story, for example, is from a social media post, Wisdom Shots, that I saw recently, which some of you may have seen. The story is told of a hunter who lost his way deep in the jungle as he was chasing a deer. He used all his navigation skills, but he could not find his way out of the jungle. And he could not find any food to eat for 3 days. He lost all hope, and he thought that he would die of his hunger. Miraculously, at that very moment, he caught sight of an apple tree. He was so happy. And he collected about 10 to 20 apples to feed himself as he tried to find his way out of the jungle. As he ate the first apple, he was so grateful. His joy had no bounds, and he thanked God for it very much. But as he ate the second apple, he thought less about God. And he was even less grateful when he ate the third apple. With each apple, his gratitude to God kept diminishing. And as he ate the 10th apple, he hardly thought about God, and he even started complaining that some of the apples did not taste as good. Now, he had taken for granted the gift of finding an apple tree in the jungle after 3 days of wandering and starving. And his gratitude to God, which was great when he ate the first apple, kept diminishing, and it disappeared when his hunger for food was satisfied. The 10th apple was probably as good as the first apple. That did not change. What changed was the hunter's attitude. I remember studying in economics the law of diminishing marginal utility. The hunter's attitude here can be described as the law of diminishing marginal gratitude. Now, many of us probably can identify ourselves with a hunter. We are not always grateful for our apples, for God's gifts and blessings in our lives. And we too take things for granted. We sometimes have this sense of entitlement. As a person who grew up in a developing world, I can say that we are so blessed here in this part of the world. Abundance of natural resources, food, education, healthcare, transportation, and peace and security. But rather than appreciating the blessings of God and thanking God for them, we have taken them for granted, and we have started complaining about people, about our job, about our government, about food, about the weather. A friend once jokingly said, "Father, here in Canada we are so fortunate because if we don't have anything else to complain about, we can always complain about our weather." No doubt that the present pandemic has caused terrible hardships to so many of us. But it has also helped me to become aware of, and hopefully helped you to become aware of, the many blessings that we so easily take for granted. To be able to gather with our families and friends, to be able to gather in our places of worship, to be able to travel freely. These are just a few examples in the long list of blessings. Before I came to St. Kevin's Parish, I did a course in one of the hospitals in Toronto. And in the unit that I was assigned to, there was this 76-year-old woman confined to her wheelchair. For the most part of the day, she would be seated at the doorway to her room on her wheelchair. And whenever someone walked by, she would very diligently follow their footsteps. She would do that for each person that passed her by. I noticed this for several days and I was very curious about it. So one day I asked her why. She said, in all my 76 years, I never realized what a gift it is to be able to walk. Now that I am confined to my wheelchair, I realize what a wonderful gift it is. How often do we take our ability to walk and to move and to have our senses for granted? How often do we take the gift of life, our ability to breathe, for granted? Again, I read this story a few days ago in the social media about a 73-year-old man in Italy who became ill with COVID-19. Thankfully, he got well in the hospital. And when he was being discharged, he was told to pay 5,000 euros for the use of the ventilator, and he began to cry. The doctor said, "Don't cry. If you're not able to pay, we will somehow manage." The man's response made the doctors cry. He said, "I'm not crying because I'm not able to pay the money. I can pay all the money. I'm crying because for 73 years I have been breathing God's air and I never paid for it. Now it costs me 5,000 euros to use a ventilator to breathe for a few days. Do you know how much I owe God?" This story is worth our reflection. Our very life, our very existence today is a gift because so many who were with us a year ago or even a week or two ago are not with us today. Our family and friends are a gift because there are so many around the world who do not have any family or friends. And we take for granted the gifts of life that we so very much enjoy each and every day of our life. They are given to us by the bountiful blessings of God. My dear friends, the good things of life are not owed to us, but they are given to us to be enjoyed with gratitude and with responsibility. And the more grateful we are, the more appreciative we become. The more appreciative we become, the more joyful we become. And the more joyful we become, the more generous we become in sharing our blessings with others. I am grateful for my family and friends, for my confreres in Holy Cross, and for the family of St. Kevin's Parish community, and for so many other things. And I pray that you too be blessed with grateful hearts. In his first letter to the Thessalonians, St. Paul says, "Rejoice always, pray without ceasing, in all circumstances give thanks." Let us try to do that even as we walk through these dark COVID-19 days with hope. Let us be well. Let us be safe. God bless you all.